Hey, you're right. Welcome back to your next video lesson. We're kicking off with a riddle to help warm up your brains. It is, I'm light as a feather, yet you can't hold me for more than a few minutes. What am I? If you have any ideas, let me know down in the comments or send me an email and I'll let you know if you are correct. Okay, to refresh the content we looked at in last week's video, here are a couple of flashback questions. First one is find the area of this circle. And question 2, a bit more challenging. We've got a quarter of a circle called a quadrant, and we want to find the area of that. You can round however you want. Hit pause and see if you can remember how to answer these questions. Okay, hopefully you are remembering from last week that we looked at the formula for the area of a circle, which is pi times radius squared. Okay, so for this first circle, all we've got to do is take our diameter of 14 and we've got to cut it in half and say the radius would be 7. Then we do pi times 7 squared, again 7 being our radius, put it through our calculator and we get an answer of around 153.9 square centimeters because it's an area, so we should have square units. Okay, over on the right we're finding the area of, like I said, this is a quarter of a circle, so our approach is going to be, we're going to find the area of a circle, but we're going to multiply it by a quarter. Or you can divide by 4, whatever you prefer. Okay, we have our radius is already right here. We've got 3. So all we need to do is 1/4 times pi times 3 squared. Feed that through our calculator and we get an answer of around 7 centimeters squared. Well done if you got either of those right, or maybe even both. Okay, today is our last lesson in the circles topic. Today we're looking at cylinders, which is a 3D shape, and we're going to find the volume of a cylinder. All right, before we get into that, we should probably do a refresher on what volume is. So we've already looked at perimeter and area in this topic. We're going to do another look at volume now, which is kind of like the space inside of a 3D object. Okay, earlier in the year, we found the volume of some prisms like this rectangular prism. If you need a reminder, this is how we found the volume. We take one of our faces, in this case, because it's a rectangular prism, we're going to find the area of one of the rectangles. I'm going to go for this one at the front. Okay, it's a rectangle that's got a base of 5 and a height of 3. So the area is going to be 5 times 3, which works out to be 15 square centimeters. Okay, that's the area of the front face. Now, if we take that area and we multiply it by the length of the shape, it's going to get us the volume of the entire solid. So we'll take our 15, we'll multiply it by 6, and then we'll have our volume. So volume equals 15, which is the base area, times 6, which is the length of the shape, which we sometimes call the height, just to confuse you. So we get an answer of 90, and because it's a volume, it's a cubic unit, okay? So we write centimeters cubed. So a centimeter would be a length, a square centimeter is an area, and a volume would be a cubic unit, like centimeters cubed. Okay, so our process for any prism is just taking the base area and multiplying by the height. So hopefully that's a bit of a refresher if you're feeling a bit rusty. Now we're going to apply this to a cylinder. So here is our cylinder. It's kind of like a tube where you've got circles on each end and they're joined by a curved surface, okay? So our process is going to be very similar to what we just did with the prism, where we take the area of the face and we multiply it by the length of the shape, which we call the height, okay? So once again, volume is equal to base area, which in this case is a circle, multiplied by the length of the shape. As we already saw, the base area, this circle here, we can find by doing pi times r squared. So we can make a little formula here by writing pi times r squared for the area, multiplied by height, and there is our volume formula for a cylinder. Okay, so please draw a cylinder in your notes, write the volume formula next to it, and we're going to apply it for a few examples today. Okay, let's have a look at this first one. So we've got a cylinder, it's got a height of 20 and it's 12 centimeters wide. We want to find the volume. All right, so we're going to use that formula that we just wrote down. Volume equals area of the circle, pi r squared, multiplied by the height of the cylinder. All right, so if this is our circle on top, which is 12 centimeters wide, what is the radius going to be? Well, it's going to be half of our diameter, so half of 12 is going to be 6. Okay, so 6 is our radius, and we've got a height of 20. And that's all we need for our formula just here. So we're going to do volume equals pi times 6 squared multiplied by 20. All right, so because we're doing a lot of multiplying, we're often going to get some pretty big numbers for these answers, but that's all right, it's still a number. We'll put this through a calculator. it'll get us an answer of around 2,261.9 cubic centimeters rounded to 1 decimal place. Okay, so there's our formula. There is our process. If that's making a bit of sense, you can have a go at these couple examples yourself. So 2 cylinders, see if you can find the volume, or if you need some more help, I'll go through them very shortly. Okay, for the first one, we have a circle and we have a height. We already have the radius of the circle being 40, so we don't need to do any halving for this one. We're going to use our volume formula, area of the circle times by the height. Our radius is 40 and our height, which is the length of the cylinder, is 60. So we're going to substitute these two values into our formula. So pi times 40 squared multiplied by 60 gets us a very big number. We end up with 301,593 cubic millimeters. So that's rounded to the nearest whole number. Okay, over on the right, we've got another cylinder. This is kind of like the first example where I've given you the width or the diameter of the circle. So we need to find half of that to get our radius. Okay, so this length right here is going to be half of 8.6, which is going to be 4.3. So 4.3 is our radius. Now we can use our volume formula once again. Radius of 4.3, a height of 8.6, and we'll substitute in those values. Into a calculator it goes, which gives us an answer of around 500 cubic meters, because we had meters here and meters here. Okay, sweet. So those two examples should get you through the worksheet that's posted on Google Classroom. If you like a bit of a challenge, here is a challenge question where we want to find the volume of this figure here, which is kind of like a part of a cylinder. Answering correct to 2 decimal places. This is an optional question. If you're feeling brave, pause the video and have a go by yourself, because I'm going to go through it very, very shortly. Okay, here we go. So the only trick to this question is that what we are looking at here is the top half of a cylinder. So if you want to find the volume of half a cylinder, you just got to find the volume of the cylinder and just either multiply it by a half or divide it by 2. Okay, so we're doing volume is half of the cylinder. Cylinder formula we already know, pi times r squared times h, which we've used already 3 times today. All we're going to do is add in multiplied by a half, which is going to give us half of the shape. Okay. Okay, once again, this one has the slight trick of I've given you the width of the shape, but in our formula, we need the radius. So first thing we're going to do is say, well, this length here, from the center to the edge, is the radius. It's half of 20, so it's 10. And now we have a radius of 10. We have a height of 32, and we can substitute into our volume formula. So we're doing half times pi times 10 squared multiplied by 32. Well done if you got the same answer as me, around 5,026.55. We're just going to write cubic units because there's no centimeters or meters in the picture, so you can just write whatever you want. Okay, awesome job if you got that. Have a go at the practice questions up on Google Classroom and let me know if I can give you a hand. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys later.